Hi, welcome to Pod of Mercy. I am your host, Longhair Linda, and today's special guest co-host is...
It's me. It's the one and only. Joking. Yeah, it's me. Ox, how are you? How are you, Linda?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Good.
All right.
Very, very happy to have you. Thank you so much for doing this.
It's all right. My
Be-
pleasure. It's going to be fun.
Before we even get started on the topic, because I know this topic, I think it will just be perfect for the two of us to go over. But before we get there, we always start the episode here with a rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you 10 questions. Okay,
Yeah.
10 easy questions, and you have 45 seconds to answer all 10 questions. If you manage it, then you win. If you don't, then I win. So how confident are you feeling? 10 questions in 45 seconds.
That's 4 seconds. That's 4.5 seconds per question.
It is indeed. And I'll probably takes me about 1.5 to ask it. So you have about 3 seconds.
Yeah, I can do that. That's fine.
Could do it?
Yeah.
All right, confidence. That's what we like to see. All right, well, let me get my timer together and then we'll get started. All right, so the timer starts when I ask the first question. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and go. Bagels or donuts?
Bagels.
Name 3 items you would take to a desert island.
Some CDs. I would take a toothbrush and swimming trunks.
Favorite way to relax after a long day?
Cup of tea.
Sit down meal in a restaurant or delivery?
Sit down meal in a restaurant.
Would you rather be rich and hated or poor and loved?
Rich and hated.
Name one thing guaranteed to lift your mood.
Music.
Last thing you do before you sleep?
Put a podcast on.
Salty or sweet?
Sweet.
Favorite board game?
Monopoly.
What's your toxic trait?
Oh,
you're out of time.
Oh, that's a hard one. You asked me like the most hardest. Yeah, that's the hardest.
You are out of time. I'm so sorry. Do you know what seemed to have tripped you up was the 3 items you take to a desert island? You took a bit of time thinking of those.
I know, but I said a CD without a CD player. So
I was going to ask you that. You realised you said you were going to have a couple CDs, but you had no CD player to play them.
That's it. Yeah, I sort of put that in the whole, in the bundle. I should have just said MP3 player or something, but yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. What would have been your answer for toxic trait?
I don't know actually. I'd have ummed and ahed over that one probably for the longest. I still don't know. Probably got too many.
So it's that you're choosing from too many, not that you're struggling.
No, I don't know. What is my toxic trait? Just something silly, I suppose. I don't know. Procrastination. Is that a toxic trait? I procrastinate sometimes.
I don't know if that's toxic, but I'll allow it.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll allow it. All right. So very well done. You made it through.
Wicked.
Well, not quite. You made it to the last answer, or the last question, I should say. So nothing was too terrible. You didn't beat me, unfortunately, with the time, but nothing was too terrible that you can answer it. So that's okay. Awesome. Okay, so let's get on then to the main topic for today. So the topic for today is worst jobs. So Ark, me and you are going to talk about just some of the worst jobs we've had. Not necessarily having to name any names of any places. Just maybe let's just see if if we got some funny memories from our long working lives. I've got 5 that I know that I can give today. What about you?
I've probably got a few more. I reckon or maybe not. Some of them aren't necessarily bad jobs, but I've got bad stories from lots of jobs.
From the jobs, yeah. I think I've got one like that as well.
Yeah, I've got a few.
All right. Do you want to kick us off? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll probably start from the beginning. Maybe I don't know how bad this is, but I used to work in this really posh restaurant, like Michelin star sort of restaurant, as a waiter or whatever. And yeah, the owners were just the most talk about toxic traits. They were probably the most toxic. I'm trying to think of the worst things that they would have done. For example, right, if you were there during the day, they might not have opened for lunch, and if you were there during the day, you'd have to clean all the bits in the restaurant, right? So, but what she would do is she would hide little piles of salt like behind certain things, right? So then she wouldn't tell you like how many there were. So there might be 5, 7, 8. You never know how many there are. And she would hide them like on like the fourth shelf up, like behind the thing. And if you didn't get them all, then you used to get a bollocking or whatever for it and shit like that, man. It used to it was not a good vibe.
So it was some kind of weird salt scavenger hunt for
almost, yeah. But you never know how much salt was there, so you just have to it's her way of like making you go from like top to tail on the whole place and making you do. It was disgusting, and I'd miss it all the time. Like I just couldn't.
Oh
after a while, I was like, but you know when them jobs when you're younger, like you just can't. You don't really care about it. Do you know what I mean? So you think, I'm not here like long. It's just not like a long term career. So you just would be, fuck it, not going to sack me. But it did sack me, I think, in the end.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. So this was one of your first jobs, you said?
Yeah, I think it was my second job. My first job was working in a little wood shack. That was good as gold. This was back when I was like 13, 14. It was on £2 an hour.
Oh yeah.
£16 a day. Like when I see people moaning, on £10 an hour, I'm thinking that's a lot for like a kid, right?
For a kid, it is, yeah. But I feel like we had less expenses than kids do now.
Oh, do you think
like
so?
The things that kids want now, I think, costs way more than the things we wanted when we were younger. Maybe I'm a bit
exclusive fucking exclusive Jordans and like. It's just crazy the shit.
That's the thing. Every single interest of theirs costs an arm and a leg now. Like there's nothing. It's not like back in the day it would be like a new game for your Nintendo. Like it's not. It doesn't compare really. Some of the stuff that, at least from memory, I don't remember ever like wanting something that was crazy expensive, like in comparison to what the kids were kind of showing off with now or what's trending. All right, well, you did that. So I'll go with my first proper job. So like you, I was also working at like 12, 13, doing all newspaper rounds and things like that. But when I was 15, because I'm one of the younger lot in my class, so I got my national insurance card when we were in year 11, but I hadn't quite turned 16 yet. But I had my NI number.
You like a July baby, August or something?
August, yeah. So my birthday's in August, so I was one of the youngest. Yeah, I was literally the second youngest in my year. So I had my national insurance number and I had an interview. Now, just to give you an idea of this type of company. So it was a multi-level marketing, aka pyramid scheme. And they specialized in specifically Tupperware and home goods. So you probably know who this is by that, but whatever. Yeah. So yeah, just to give you an idea of what type of company it was, the interview was in my house. The lady came to my house. I lied about my age, but because I had an NI number, I said I was 16. Obviously, they weren't checking this type of thing. But because I didn't drive, what I had to do, because I obviously got the job, what I had to do was go around my area, my neighborhood, with a suitcase full of catalogs, put a catalog in every single door. I'd pick like a certain number of streets and I'd do those. And then 2 days later, go right back and collect any orders, because there'd be little order receipts inside the catalogs. Yeah. Pick up any orders that anyone had. It was commission only. So I was doing all of this basically for free until people bought stuff, and then I'd make like pennies on the pound of whatever it is they'd ordered. Yeah, so I would probably say that was the worst job because I didn't get paid, really. I got paid commission.
You're not popular either, right? You just knock on the door and people just like treat you like.
Yeah, like when I would go and collect, like, if people had, filled out orders or whatever, the only way I would know is by knocking on everyone's door who I knew I delivered to a couple of days before and say, hi, I dropped off the catalogue recently. Did you have any orders that you wanted me to place for you and stuff? Bearing in mind, I'm like 15 and these people were just like, no, go away. Or they would have something.
To like learn how to deal with all types of people. I think those things, aren't they?
For sure. I mean, I ended up basically having a career filled with some type of sales or people facing type of role. So I do think that was like almost the start of understanding how to deal with people and relying on people and how to speak to them, even when they're being like little shits to you and stuff. So I guess that is the benefit from that. But yeah, I would say that's my first proper job at 15. I wouldn't recommend it, especially if you don't have a car where you can go and deliver these things. Doing it with a suitcase, yeah, it was long.
I had a similar job, and I say I had a similar job. I mean, it means I went there for 2 days and thought, "Fuck this." Like, it was like it was selling Sky, right, or some sort of TV. It might have been Virgin or something, but it was just like one of those like knocking on people's door things. And you turn up and it's like they're all drinking the Kool-Aid, right? Again, it's the same thing, commission only. You might make some people made quite a bit of money. I think some people maybe not so much, but you turn up at 9 o'clock and they would give you a big speech, right? They're like trying to like hype everyone up, like you can do this, you can, like you are the masters of your own destiny. All this shit like for like hours just to get everyone sort of like gassed up. They put all like the sales figures on the thing, and you'd see this fucking Nigel walking around like he's the king of the hill. You know, he's done however much money he's earned that month, and he's, you know, everyone thinks he's Billy Big Bollocks. And then they'd send you out. We used to get put in little we put in these little coaches, and they'd take us out, and we'd go around, just knock on doors and try and sell to people basically. But yeah, no, I did that shit for 2 days and was like, no, I'm not doing this no more. You lot are mad.
Selling to people door to door was almost as bad as working for those managers that were in those roles. So their managers in those teams were just the worst. They were the worst part of the job, and selling to people door to door was hell. So you can imagine just how bad it is.
Did you have to go in like into an office or anything like that? You would just do it all from there's obviously they come to your house.
Yeah, the lady came to my house to do the interview, so there was no office for me to go to. It was just a joke. It was a joke.
Zero overheads.
Yeah, they must have been making a killing from depending on how many people they had.
How much money did you make? Can you remember? What was your biggest sale? Like, did you get some orders back like, yo, she wants the whole fucking?
I never got I got commission pretty much every time I went out, because there would always be someone ordering something.
Yeah.
But it was like useful little home goods, right? So it wasn't that people weren't going to order it, but how much I got for each sale really will, because the things weren't that expensive. So it's not like I'm in the money.
£50.
Yeah, exactly. So like people would buy like sets worth of $5 or something, and I would get maybe 10%, not even of that. I needed to have like a lot of orders. I was one or two times here or there that I got a fair amount of orders, but it definitely wasn't anything that would compare to earning an actual salary for the amount of hours I put in. It did not ever add up.
Wasn't worth it.
No, not at all. Go on, tell us your next one.
I've got another one which was at a different place which I was working at, which was a different hotel. It was like a high end one, and he was just, I don't know what happened, but they were just arseholes, right? They were just absolute arseholes. And this is me when I'm like 23, 24, and I'm going off rapping every weekend and all that sort of shit. So I think I'm the man anyway, right? And I'm like, you lot fucking losers. I'm fucking okay, you know. Anyway, yeah. So it was just a bit of a hype basically, and we would always get in trouble for one thing or another. Eventually, like it would go up. There was fucking loads of shit happened. First of all, right, the owner was this sort of like old sort of, maybe she was 50, 60-year-old woman. And she used to own it with her husband, who was like a pilot, and he used to fly the Beckhams round and shit like that. He was like a private, but yeah, quite nice. But he was never there, right? It turns out that and then the owner, the woman, used to come in and sit and have a drink at the bar, which we used to work at all the time, with like the head chef. And it turns out they were sleeping together behind her husband's back, right? So but everyone knows this, right? So like everybody knows that, like her, yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like we was just like, oh yeah, they're at it again. They're sort of like sitting in the corner, all like cozy with each other, super unprofessional.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was mad. Yeah, it was fucking bonkers, that place. Yeah. So anyway, they used to get it on like basically all the time and all this sort of stuff, and it was pretty much common knowledge. Everyone sort of knew about it, except for this guy Pat or whatever. Until one day he comes storming in out of nowhere. I don't know sort of where where the woman was. I think she was in the office at the front, right? But anyway, this guy's come in the middle of service. Yeah, he's come barging through the restaurant. Stop fucking sleeping with my wife. All this, right? everyone, all the customers are there freezing, like looking over, like, no, this guy's.
Oh my god.
This guy's he's walked into the kitchen galley. He's grabbed a knife off the side of like one of those big like chef's knives, to go and like attack the head chef. The head chef's then like crumbled on the floor right in the corner. He's got this fucking, he's like waving this knife. The pot wash comes over, like it's this big like broad Tad. He was fucking mental as well. He was he come over. He used to come over with it. He came and like wrestled him off, sort of thing. He's this big like broad Lithuanian pot wash guy. You wouldn't have fucked with him. You know what I mean? Like one of them ones. Yeah, he then pulled him off. Anyway, he's then gone running around the back, and he's gone into the office. You've almost heard him like hit his. He must have hit his wife or something like that in the office, but no one saw that because it was like behind the door. And then the chef then pipes up because I'm not having that, and he then starts running through, and you sort of go. I went into the office to try and like sort it out, and they're both like under the desk like wrestling. It's fucking mental. It was fucking mental, that place. So yeah, that was one.
How long did you work there?
I worked there for about, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know, maybe about 6-7 months or something.
How long after that incident did you stay?
Oh, I got sacked from there as well. Got sacked from that job. That was because of it. Listen, the pot wash I used to say, he was fucking hilarious. He used to come in sometimes. He's like, Sam, I've taken 2 pills. I'm like, right, okay. So he's basically at the start of a busy Saturday night. He's taken 2 ecstasy pills, and he's looking at me like, shh. He's like, I guess he thought I was one of the cool ones that he could talk to or whatever. But he's just off his fucking box like for like half a service sort of thing. Yeah. Then 6 months I was there for. They accused me of stealing all the I got caught doing when you used to go and fill up all the rooms, right, with all their chocolate bars and shit. So you go in there, like, fill up the mini bars, and that was all kept down in like a little attic sort of stock room thing. And I got caught eating a Twix down there, yeah, and it was and I obviously got bollocked for fucking taking a Twix or something like that. And then they went down to this stock room, and then they've gone down there, and there was a little window in there because it was like below like street level, and everyone used to eat the fucking chocolate bars, right? And they used to chuck them all out. Everyone used to hide them out of this sort of like window. And then one day she's obviously gone down there, this fucking woman, and like cleared them out, and have seen this like massive array of like things that everyone's been nicking. So they called this big like not company meeting, like staff meeting thing to everyone, and the whole time they're bollocking everyone, but they're looking at me, and I'm like, this is pissing me off right now, because I know you've seen me doing it, so I look guilty, yeah, but everyone else is like looking at me like I'm guilty as well, but I know that they all done it, and they're like shaking their head, and I was like the naughty one. You know what I mean? They were like shaking my head. I said, I'll fucking throw you all under the bus. I was like, all right. I say fair enough. I said, I'll be honest with you. So they've pulled all these chocolate bar things out on the floor, right? I'll be honest with you. I said, none of them are mine. Absolutely none of them are mine. Whoa, we've seen you eating them rare. I said, well, I'll be honest with you. I put mine in the bin upstairs. So that means all of these belong to all of these people there. And you sort of see everyone go like, what the fuck? Yeah, that was a crazy place. That was crazy.
Were you the only one that was sacked because of the minibar incident?
I got sacked because I took some money out of the till, and I'll tell you why I took them. Now listen, let me hear me out. It was on a big marble floor, right? In the restaurant, there was a marble floor. Yeah, they just wanted to get rid of me. Yeah, this was good employee business. So and these chairs used to have like these. It was so fucking horrible. They used to squeak on the floor, and customers used to get so pissed off of it. And there was a hardware shop over the road, and one day it was dead. I took a tenner out of the till and went and bought those little rubber stamp things on the bottom.
Yeah, that you can put on the bottom of chairs and tables and stuff.
I've got loads of them. I started sticking them on there. I thought I was being like, I thought that was quite
taking initiative. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But then they just wanted to get rid of me, so they said, "Oh, this is gross misconduct and all that." I said, "You're taking the piss, aren't you?" Like, you are absolutely taking the piss.
Yeah,
So,
they
yeah.
just they wanted to fire you. It must have been the Twixes with the last straw or something. I don't know.
The last one, yeah. Oh, shoot, that was a fucking.
Damn.
That was
All
a mad.
right. Okay, here's one. Which one should I go with next? All right, I'm gonna go with. So when I was in college, this was right before I started uni, I worked a telesales job for a photography studio company based in central London. So what they would do is they would have people get like a free makeover. I don't know if you heard of these, a free makeover, and then they'd get a photo shoot done.
Shoot or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so you get a photo shoot done, and you can get it done. All of it's for free, except for if you want the actual pictures, you got to pay for them.
Yeah,
and one of the ways that people who wanted to pay for the pictures to keep some of them to get like a disc of them or something, is they would get a discount if they did referrals. So if they gave 5 friends or family members that they think might be interested in having a photo shoot. So my job as a telesales person was, I didn't realize this initially, but I guess it made sense as time went on. Our list of people that we were ringing were these referrals, were these people that would have potentially been interested. And my job was to try and get them to agree to it, and also to put down a deposit so that they could book a time. So that part of it was,
you have to pay for the deposit to get the shoot, and then you get that off your pictures or whatever.
exactly. So you could get like, I think it used to be like 40 quid deposit or 45 quid, something like that. And if you pay that, then that can be taken off the cost of your pictures. But if you show up to the appointment and you decide you don't want the pictures, you get it. They have to give it back to you because it's a refundable deposit. So when I was actually like on the calls and stuff, I was pretty good at it, because typically I'm pretty good at any sales where I don't think like I'm ripping anyone off. So if they were like, if I got the feeling that actually they would be interested or whatever, and I knew that people would get their money back if they didn't want to buy their pictures, then I was pretty confident selling it to them. That wasn't the issue. The issue with the job was the management, right? So the guy was nice. There was nothing wrong with him in terms of how he was, like how his management skills or anything like that. But they always used to pay late, always. So it was weekly pay. It's supposed to get paid on a Friday. Always, always, always guaranteed it will be late. Always. So it'd be the Monday, it'd be Tuesday. One time it was like a week and a half late. That's the first time I ever heard of and ever used payday loans. Have you ever had to use one of them?
Yeah, no, I never used one, but they're crazy.
They are truly the worst. But it's because I literally had nothing. I had no money to my name because they'd taken so long to pay us. It was almost, so they're supposed to pay us on the Friday. They didn't pay us, so not the next week, but the week after. They paid us finally on the Thursday. So I had like nothing. And so, one of the people that I worked with was like, oh, you can get a payday loan, you can get one of these, and you tell them the date that you're supposed to get paid. And as long as it's within 30 days, then you get, or it's at the end of the month, then the interest is higher, but it's not that bad, and you don't pay like loads and loads on top. That's the first time I ever had payday loans.
Thousands of percent, like if you.
It's honestly, even if you don't miss the payment, I never missed the payment. I used the payday loan twice, and both times were because I was working at this place and because my pay was late. But I never used them again, because how much you actually pay for the privilege to get a measly like £500 or whatever, you end up paying like 200 quid just to get five. Like, it's honestly so bad. So yeah, I blame that company because they paid us late so much. I would have never had to pay that much interest.
They should have covered your like interest.
One time I sat down with my boss and I was like, this was after I don't even know how many times I've been paid late, and I was like, this can't continue like this. I'm not having it. And he was like, so what are you saying? I'm like, what do you mean what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying you need to pay us. Kind of
a big company or like is it a proper company or like a small outfit? Like,
it was like a small one of these small ones that pop up. It was like in Farringdon.
Not like a venture one of those big ones, like a smaller one, yeah.
No, yeah. So they didn't have like multiple offices or anything like that. They literally had the offices, they had the studio, and like that's it. So yeah, and I think they just wanted us to quit so it would save them some money and stuff. So I think that's why he asked me like, what are you saying? But like, I think it's very clear what I'm fucking saying. Pay me. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the reason why it was so bad, because they just didn't pay us. The job itself, it's fine, but they just didn't pay us on time ever. It was horrible, horrible. Shit. Go on, what's your next one?
I probably haven't got like loads of like bad ones, but like I've got just like sort of random funny ones.
That will do.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work at Phones for You. Remember Phones for You? It's like Car Phone Warehouse.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was like my first like job outside of like catering, or I think I was like 18 years old or something like that. And it was just quite heavy on commission. Commission was actually quite decent back then, really. Yeah, it was a funny job because you used to meet so many like random different sorts of people, and everyone was like, it's just a bit fucking crazy, really. But yeah, it's a good opportunity to sort of like do like wind up. Used to just fuck around winding people up. Our sort of first experience there was before they took us to, as me as like an 18-year-old, didn't not knowing fuck all about anything. The first thing they did was they put us in like almost like a sales boot campy thing, which was like you go over, we got put in a hotel somewhere. I can't remember where it was actually. We got put in a hotel somewhere, and then they teach you the Phones for You way of selling, right? So, but all of their thing was, it was all scripted. So you'd have to like you come and say hi, how are you? Hi, and you say picked a nice day for it. That would be like their thing, and then you'd never ask like what are you in here for today, because then that gives the customer the opportunity to say like nothing, or
or just looking around. You want to give them a closed question and all that
exactly.
shit.
So what their trick was, they used to say, oh, what phone have you got at the moment? Because then no one can really turn that down. And then they used to teach you to like someone to get their phone out, and then you'd have to like make like really like like a face like, oh, that's a bit shit. You could sort of like do better.
Not shaming people into getting a new phone.
Yes, no, not necessarily shaming, but you just like be like, oh, it was sometimes it was a bit more of like a conversation starter as well. So someone might get it out and they got the newest phone and be like, oh, I'm actually thinking about getting something for someone else, or if it's for a kid or whatever that was, right? It was a bit more of a conversation starter, and then it will give an opportunity. And then, what sort of deal are you on at the moment? Or pay as you go contract. This is the days when 200 text messages used to cost £4.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, it was there's like a £4 bolt on or something just for text. This before data and all that stuff. So it was like,
we're in a whole different world with contracts now. They don't even do minutes and text. What is that? No, it's just all about the data.
No one even
back in the day, them minutes and text used to be gold.
Yeah, exactly. And you run out and then end up getting like some sort of fucking massive bill at the end of it.
Yep.
But yeah, no, we used to have this kid there. His name was, I can't really tell the story without telling you. His surname was Price, right? But he was so fit, this kid. Like, I can't even. It's a horrible thing to say, but oh my god, you've never met someone so thick in your entire life. So we used to call him Half Price. We used to call him Half Price, but you've never met. Listen, it's going to probably sound a bit like in today, everyone's a bit more. You're talking about 2005 here, right? So
it was the Wild West, the Wild West back then.
It was the fucking Wild West, yeah. But we used to do. He used to get. Everyone used to get it. Like, he used to get it to me as well. They used to send me to the shop for a long wait, and I'd go down there, go into the hardware shop, waiting for a long wait, and then the hardware shop was obviously up for it. They knew exactly what was going on, so they used to sit you down there and make you wait for 20 minutes and be like, boss thinks you're a wanker.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You can go down there. But we had this one, we told him, those little like metal flight cases, like they used them to carry like sound equipment in, or anyway, there was this new phone that had come out, and they wanted to get a phone from one branch to another because they were selling it over there, and we didn't have it in stock, or whatever it was. So anyway, we've sent him over to get it, and we've told him that it was because it was a new phone. It was almost top secret, so he had to handcuff himself to this thing, and there wasn't even anything in it. Do you know what I mean? We just I put the thing on too tight by mistake, the handcuff, and he starts fucking screaming about it. And he's gone over to the other shop. We didn't have the key in the shop because they had it in the other one. Yeah, that was a bad time. Here's another one. You know those big like plastic containers. We used to send people from shop to shop with those, like with the phones, but rather than just putting phones in them, because the phones don't really weigh that much, we used to put those big like reams of paper in it that you could see. You could sometimes you could quite see down onto the high street, and you would see someone like their new starter from the other shop walking down like from like bench to bench, like with this fucking.
So mean.
Oh, it was funny though, man. It's good character building, right? it was good character building, but yeah, it turned out to be that, right? So it's probably similar to you with the Tupperwares and stuff. You get to sort of talk to everyone at every single walk of life. From doesn't matter if they're rich, poor, old, young. You get to quickly build like rapport with people, and meet all different types of people, which in the end was it was all right. But yeah, it was the wild west. Basically, our goal was to make the most commission. You would have to sell the shittest phone on like the biggest contracts, right? So you used to, there'd be like a new phone come out, and I think I failed the mystery shop so many times. They used to send someone from head office to come and do a mystery shop, and I went so hard on the mystery shopper trying to tell them that the battery life on the new phones was shit, and to get an old phone because it was dirty.
You might not have been lying though.
No, I weren't like, well, that's
battery life as the phones got newer, battery life has gotten worse.
Yeah, but they used to last for days, right? Like
they did, but they did used to do less. They did used to do less. Like the old Nokias, they could never do what like an iPhone does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. But that was my bar. I was like, look, you don't need all that extra stuff. It's just more stuff to go wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll get them on some big £70 a month contract. I said, you want to round it up. You don't want to have a big bill. So get on a big £70 a month contract. And then, oh my God, we used to do
that. So you don't need all the stuff for the phone, but you need all the stuff for the contract. That's diabolical.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So wait, what happened with the mystery shopper then that you did that with?
Mystery shopper, I think I got the lowest score in it for months. On that, what happened with the mystery shopper was, right? Do you remember the old Sony Ericsson Walkman phone?
Yep, I had one for a bit.
You're the white and the orange one, yeah?
I had the black and orange, but yeah.
Okay, right. So there was another phone that come out before that, right? Which was basically exactly the same phone, but it was just a different color, right? It was called the K750. It's a black Sony Ericsson, and it's exactly the same phone. But when the Walkman phone come out, everyone wanted the Walkman phone, right? So it was bad, man. The mystery shopper come in, asking for the new phone, and then you're meant to still say, why do you want this phone, go through the questions and all that. I went straight in with it. I said, look, I'll be honest with you, the best thing to do is buy this one now and then come back in 2 weeks and I'll swap it over for you to get the new one. Which is obviously
I take it you're not supposed to do that.
No, because I just wanted to hit my sales figures for the day, right? So I didn't really give a shit. But everyone used to do it all the time. I just just take this one. If you don't like it, come back and we'll swap it over for the other one. It's exactly the same, but then I'd still hit the figures for the day. Because otherwise you just lose the customer. They just go somewhere else. But yeah.
But obviously mystery shopper wasn't happy with that.
Yeah, but he didn't sack me for it, so I used to do quite good figures. You know what I mean? So
that's good.
Yeah, it was all right. So,
how long did you work there for?
I reckon a few years. 2 years, 2-3 years.
That's pretty good for a place like that.
Yeah, it was all right. It was a good little vibe there.
All right. Well, speaking of sales jobs, I'm gonna go with, because basically sales jobs are what I fell back on whenever I moved somewhere or whenever I needed a job quickly. It's just the easiest thing I could find, and obviously the more I kept doing that, the easier it was to find them, because that's what was building up my CV. Yeah. So when I first moved to Manchester, I was trying desperately not to get another sales job. So I was trying to hold out and live on my savings for a bit. But after a couple of months, I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this and traveling to London to see my mom every 6 weeks. I need a job. So the first ever job I got was... now, before you judge me, right? Because it's one of these places where they ring you and they say, have you been injured in an accident, right?
Oh yeah, wicked.
Here's the thing. I don't know if it was some kind of cognitive dissonance or I was just being delusional or something, but from the interview and the training, they made it seem, and I willingly believed apparently, that it was actually people that were in accidents that had contacted so it was like a little company, right, with like a little call center in a rented office, but that they partnered with solicitors. So whenever we were speaking to people, we'd put them through to the solicitors to actually do the claim. So what they would say at the interview and in the training was that these people had contacted the solicitors, but the solicitors couldn't get hold of them anymore. And so we needed to reach out to them and get them back on board, basically, with a claim. So at the time I'm buying it, I'm falling for it, and I'm like, yeah, cool, all right. So then I finally get on the phone. This is like day 2 or whatever. I get on the phone and I'm speaking to these people, and I'm like, these people don't have a fucking clue who I am, who the solicitors are. This is bullshit. Like, I am one of those people that's just ringing and saying, have you been in an accident? And so I remember that first proper day that I was on a call when I was on a break. We were outside. This is back when I used to smoke as well. So we were outside the smoking area, and I'd be like, I said to someone else who started new with me, I'm like, does this seem legit? Like this, because I'm not speaking to anybody that has any clue I feel like I'm one of them terrible people. And she was just like, yeah, I don't think it is. I was like, all right, we'll just have to stick it out. So immediately at that moment, I went back to looking for jobs, like all that kind of stuff. But I was still there. They sacked me at the end of that week just because, like I said before, I'm good at sales if I don't think like I'm mugging anyone off. If I don't believe in what it is, if I, don't believe in the company, if I think they're trying to mug someone off, if I don't leave, I'm just not going to try while I'm there. You're going to have to sack me, and it's only because I need the money that I'm still here, but I'm not going to try and mug anyone off. So I was just not very good at it at all. They literally sacked me by the end of the week, and that was my first job in Manchester.
You just get slagged off like all the time, like you ring someone off and
there were definitely some choice words that I heard on the phone when I called. And I did used to think like it's annoying getting those calls, but I feel like I get it from that end. But I don't think when I've had annoying calls, I've not cussed anyone out, to be honest. I just hang up the phone if they're not listening. Like if I'm telling them, look, you got the wrong person, or please take me off your list or whatever, and they're still going on at me, then I'll just hang up. I've never felt the need personally to swear at someone unless it's someone who is actively harassing me. Like if it's just your job, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I don't care enough to do that. But if you're like harassing me or something and I know you for real, then that's different. So there's some of the stuff I would hear, I'll be like, I'm not even trying that hard. Like I'm literally just asking you if that's who you are. If you say no, I was just like, all right, no worries. I wasn't objection handling. I wasn't doing none of that because I didn't give a shit. I just needed to have some money come in. So yeah, I got sacked by the end of the week.
Classic sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sales is a funny one, right? So I might go. So another job, I used to work at a high street bank.
Okay.
So I left the phone shop, and I got a job at is at Barclays, right? So, but I was I wasn't like the cashier. I was like like the personal banker. The one you go and talk to about if you want to set up a new account, set up like a savings account. But them jobs, they're just sales jobs. I didn't realize that. I thought I'd be out there helping, learning. I could, start a long career in banking, all that sort of stuff. No. I mean, this is when they were giving out loans for fun, right? Like everyone used to come in, and their main thing was, it was so fucked up, to be honest with you. Like it was so bad. They would try and make you get people to qualify for loans. So I remember having this. Was
this? Sorry to interrupt. Was this right before the financial crisis? Was this before 2008?
Yeah.
They were moving mad. That's literally why the whole world shut down.
Like it was mad. It was so mad, and it was a case of like, oh, this woman's come in. I remember it quite. She's come in. She's pregnant. She's fucked. Right, something's happened. Like some sort of financial bullshit's happened. Like she hasn't paid for a car parking ticket on an old car she didn't know she had. That has then gone to the ticket's gone to old addresses. And it's gone to bailiffs and all that sort of stuff. End of the day, they've wrapped her up so badly she didn't have a leg to stand on. So she needed to take a loan out to pay for this thing that she didn't really, and she's pregnant, all this sort of stuff. And then anyway, she must have qualified for a loan that was like 10 grand or whatever it was. They tell you like how much, but she only wanted like maybe like 2 grand or whatever it was. And I remember getting in trouble because they said, well, you should have asked her what car she's got. Does she need a new car for the baby? Like, has she thought about getting a new kitchen? Or I'm like, this is gross, man. I'm like, no. She can't afford the repayments. Like, you used to be able to look in and see everyone's account, right? So you could open it up and you could see exactly how much money people had, and you could see she couldn't afford the payments. But then they used to try and make you hit those targets, and it was fucked up, man. And it was I had a few of those where I refused to sort of like over lend to people because it was to be getting people into all sorts of trouble and stuff. Really, I remember this homeless guy once came in, and like the direct debit, he had like a direct debit thing with BT that it taken like a triple payment thing from him or something. It turns out it wasn't his fault, right? Even though not his fault because he was homeless, but it was, everyone would have looked at him and thought, oh, just sort of blame this guy. But anyway, Barclays used to have this little pot of cash like that you could refund. You could refund like overpayment charges from, basically, and everyone used to do it. So I remember if you used to get overdrawn, they used to charge you an extra like 30 quid or something like that. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, he had a direct debit come out the wrong day, and he got all these overpayment charges.
The direct debit fee thing.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
If it bounces, they used to charge like 35 quid, and then they paid you if you went into an overdraft. It was crazy. Yeah,
mad. So yeah, he had about 3 of them, right? And then I was like looking at it thinking, I'm just gonna fucking refund them all. Do you know what I mean? I thought, just fuck it, I'll give him 90 quid basically. He thought it was absolutely Christmas, right? And I just thought, oh fuck it, listen, it's it's not the end of the world, is it? But yeah, I ended up losing my job over that.
They fired you because of that.
Yeah, because I shouldn't have. Because it has to be like really like extended, like proper circumstances, and I was just like, oh fuck it, just give this.
I mean, it was unheard.
Give this guy a break, sort of thing. Yeah, but yeah, they used to put us on. They used to put us on they used to put us on fucking like proper targets, and then I wasn't hitting the targets in the main branch. So then they moved me out to like the one in the hood, when then no one had no money there, so you couldn't hit any. Like the targets were different there because it was a different demographic and that lot. But that's where you used to get like, it was just fucking crackheads and shit coming in, and fraudsters and that coming in all the time. But yeah, man, that was fucking. Then I was like, I'm never fucking working for them, not again. I went all like anti-establishment and shit on them.
Listen, I don't blame you because I'm already that way. So if I work there, like there's certain things that I can't. I don't know how people do it and sleep. I just would have a really hard time sleeping.
But I feel like saying to him, like, why do you care? Like, yeah, give him fucking 90 quid out of the fucking millions that are in this account. Like,
no, that's how they get. That's how they get the millions and the billions and the numbers that don't even exist, amounts in there. Like because they will be greedy on everything with everyone, man. Oof.
It's just numbers on us, man. They acting like I was some big fucking thief. I'm not taking the piss.
No, that's the worst part of it. Like these. Like I'm not even just talking about that specific bank, obviously, because that would be, that probably opened me up to some kind of suit. So allegedly, but some of these corporations, let's say, are the biggest thieves of all time. But if you spend 90 quid, you get sacked because you're a thief. And it's like that 90 quid was refunding fees that shouldn't have been charged in the first place. But fine.
Do you know what I mean? But it's not like, it wasn't your money anyway. It's just imaginary money that you've
imaginary money that you're taking from people that are going to need this imaginary money because you've made everything inaccessible. But you want to sack someone over it. It's just like, okay, cool.
Crazy.
All right. Well, since we're in like a financial bit, I'm going to go into my second to last worst job. So this one was my second job in Manchester. So when I got sacked from the last one, I got this other job. The job itself was fine. So it was a merchant solution. So basically my job was account manager. I would have accounts. Hey?
What's a merchant solutions?
So merchant solution would be like, like in a shop, they'll have a terminal, like a card machine.
Yeah.
So that's merchant services. So it's like getting them the payment card, like the card machines, and also who they would go through to have it.
Yeah, I'm
Hey?
with you. The PDQ machine things.
Exactly, PDQ machines. So having that, and also who would be charging their fees and stuff, what bank they would be with. So my job was it was everything from cold calling businesses and then trying to get them on, got them on, then I would manage the account from that point on pretty much. And I would do things like look at analysis and like I'd get them to send me their last bill from whoever they were with, if it was just their normal, whoever they had their business bank with or something like that. And then I'd compare rate for rate what we would have charged them, how much we would have saved them. They want to come with us type of thing. The job itself wasn't bad. I was really happy that I was able to save quite a lot of people, actually, like quite a lot of money, which was good. Like big hotels and stuff, you'd assume that they would get a good deal. So it was actually, the job was fine. The reason this was a bad job though was it was one of my colleagues who was like a former army man. I think he might have been in his early 50s, but he looked older, like he looked like what he'd been through kind of thing. Kind of this shorter man, silver hair kind of thing. Smoked too many cigarettes. He had like grey teeth. And he did the same job as me. And I think because I was really good at that job, because especially once I started seeing I was actually saving people money, and I'd speak to people afterwards and they'd be like really grateful and stuff. I was like, I believed in it. So I was really good at it. I even won tickets. I'm not even a big football fan, but I won tickets to a Man United game for me and +1. So I won 2 tickets. We got to go to Old Trafford, have lunch in the box and everything, and then sit like VIP seats. I was like, when I tell you spitting distance between me and some footballers, it was that, like, if I was a proper football fan, do you know, I knew some of them, but not enough. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if I was a proper football fan, I would have been having the best time of my life type of thing. But it was really good. Got one of those little old football things in the glass, you know, them old school, I don't know what they're called. They look like shrunken old footballs in the glass case. I got one of those while I was there.
Sick.
So yeah, really good experience, and I won that for being top salesperson. So I think this colleague was a Man United fan. I think he was not happy about that, but also just in general, he wasn't happy that I was good at the job and that he wasn't rated as much by the staff. And so he would just be he would be horrible. Like, he would make working there feel so much worse than it needed to. Like, he was just and I can't even remember some of the things he used to say to me, because we're going back quite a long time here, about 10 years ago. But he was just so mean and so annoying and so rude to me constantly. And it got to the point where I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know he's not being rude to like my other colleagues, but is no one even going to be like, shut up kind of thing, or leave her alone or anything? So I'd be sat there and I'd be like, I can't. And then one day, I remember one time, like, I ended up leaving early because he kept screaming at me, kept arguing with me about something, and I ended up just getting really pissed off. My manager wasn't doing anything. I just packed up my stuff. I walked out. I got to the lift, and my manager was like chasing me to come back in, and I was like, I'm leaving. I left. I was like in tears. Can't remember what he said to me again. This was a long time ago, but I was really, really upset. I ended up taking some time off. And I wrote a letter saying, like, an email to, you know, my main bosses saying, like, look, I can't do this. This is horrible. I need some time off, blah, blah, blah. I took some paid time off. I'd made up my mind because I was looking for other jobs at this point. I'd made up my mind that I was going to leave. So when I went back, I handed in my notice. So basically, I took off the amount of time that I knew I had holidays left to make sure, because I don't always trust that employers are going to give me my holidays once I've quit. I made sure I took them as time off. And then I came in and handed in my 2-week notice or whatever it was. And I had an exit interview. With the HR team. I made sure to tell them all about what had been happening and how I felt like, you know, the only reason I was leaving was because of this guy, and that nothing was being done about this guy. He wasn't being reprimanded. No one was doing anything. So I quit. But yeah, it just goes to show you, like, having a colleague that's insufferable and a manager that won't do anything about it, that's just too nice. Like, he just didn't want to offend anyone. He's one of those guys. So someone being too nice and you're a manager, it ends up just ruining the whole thing. I was good at the job. I had no issues with the job. The commute was a bit of a mish, but
it couldn't move you to next to no one else or whatever. Or?
I wasn't even next to him. It's just that it wasn't a particularly big office. So I had to interact with him. Do you see what I mean? Like, I had no choice.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'd just be, head down, getting on with my day, whatever. I wasn't really talking that much anyway. I'm not really like a huge socializer at work anyway, but I couldn't avoid speaking. We were on the same team, so there's nothing I could do. But yeah, it just goes to show you, like, something like that can make your whole experience there just really just terrible. So yeah, I ended up leaving there. But I at that point I was definitely my most homesick, because I've had 2 jobs in Manchester since I've moved, and they've both been terrible. I hope this isn't a sign of what Manchester's about to be like. I was like, I'm ready to move home. Why did I come here? Yeah.
I hear you.
All right, go on. Have you got one more?
Yeah, I've got one more. So this is probably my first design job, really, which I'm thankful for. Which I'm very thankful for. My first like creative job, but yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, no, we used to work like fucking like 24-hour days basically. And then we used to sleep on the couch in the office, and then he used to come and wake me up with those big like metal bin lids. Basically, fucking nightmare. But yeah, that wasn't a bad job. It was all right, It wasn't too bad at all. But other than like, it's a bit of like a baptism of fire, really, because I didn't like to go to uni or anything like that to study it properly. So probably working all those like 80, 90-hour weeks is the thing that yes, what your university degree within that time, really.
Yeah. Man, that's the thing. You think you find, like, especially when you find something you're really passionate about, and then it ends up it takes up your entire life to do it. I literally have, my last one is similar to that, in the sense of my final worst job being operations director of my own company. Wouldn't recommend it, because operations director means that you're responsible for absolutely everything. So me and my best friend at the time, we started a subscription beauty box service with an online beauty shop as well. And I thought so too. It was really good, except that I was also working 40 hours a week. And yeah, doing that was genuinely the hardest thing, because I think it could have worked with a bit more help. Because it was quite unique in what it was doing. Well, not necessarily completely unique, because I think there was a few others, but it wasn't how it is now, in the sense of, like, it was focused on cruelty-free and vegan beauty products, so skincare, makeup, all that, hair care, all that kind of stuff. So I had an online shop where I would get things from places where it was really hard for people in the UK to get them. So I had like companies in Canada that I would work with, companies in Australia, companies in New York, so that people don't have to pay the individual shipping to get it, basically.
Perfect.
I would get it on wholesale. I'd always have a deal with them, because I had really good relationships with them, which I'd formed, when I first started the company. And then I also did a beauty box. So every month you could subscribe, you get 5 products worth more. Yeah, you pay like 15 quid. The products are worth 35 quid or more. Some of them I'd get free, which is how I was able to put it in there. And then if you like it, you can buy a bigger version or more of it. You can re-up on it on our online shop, which is obviously much easier because we're based in the UK. So the concept was really good, but I had to literally do everything myself. When I say I had to have all the relationships, I had to speak to everyone, I had to source all the products, I had to source everything, I had to do all the accounts for it as well, work out all the packaging, the material, posting. I had to sort all of that as well, and literally I had to do everything while also working. Yeah, and my business partner, what she was responsible for doing was taking the pictures of the products that would go in the leaflet and like wrapping up with a little bow thing, because it was a cute little packaging. Everything else was me. And I think if we'd had like investment and a bit more of an even kind of distribution of responsibilities, it could have been possible. But because it's our own money, we're both working, we're both stressed, we were both ill at the time as well. It was just the most impossible thing. So also, I didn't get paid at all for the whole 3 years that my business was running. I was just paying into it. So yeah, that's I'm putting it down as a worst job. While it was a fantastic experience, I wouldn't take it back, all that kind of stuff. I would definitely say that was a worst job for me. For sure. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, well, that was good. It was good to get some insight into some of the stuff you've done. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Unfortunately, Ark had to go before we could do the final segment of the show, but don't worry, we'll get Ark back on the show just to make sure that we do hear some of his judgments. If you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or SoundCloud, please do make sure that you rate the show and that you follow it as well to find out when we drop some more episodes. And also, if you are watching this on YouTube, please do engage with the video and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I will catch you next week.